Welcome to my interview with Carol Freeman. Carol Freeman joined my weight loss program back in September. She's done exceptionally well in such a short amount of time. Please tune in to the video to get the answers to most common questions you may have about KitchenFit.
I haven't let myself not enjoy life. I go out to dinner with my husband, and I might eat something a little bit different, or I might have dessert, which, but it's very occasional. And that's how I celebrate,
Go ahead.
Maybe once a week, but more like once every 2 weeks, even that.
Okay.
Or probably more like once a month. I went through my pictures of all my food last night. I was like looking at all the things I've eaten for the past 6 months,
Yeah.
Or like the one time that you were like, why are you eating that? And I was like, well, I thought it was good. And then I realized, I went back to the plates. And oh yeah, now I know what I did wrong. So you had a post, I think it was on September the 4th, about one of your other clients, and it resonated with me. I believe you were saying how the client hadn't been on the scale for a long time, and you were really stressing for her to get on the scale, and I had not been on the scale for 5 years. I believe it was. And I knew I was getting heavy. I was having incredible pain in my hip and my right side of my body. I could no longer sleep. I had incredible knee pain. And the story that you had posted that day just was like, wow. It just resonated with me. So I got on the scale the next morning and realized I was probably at my heaviest ever in my life. I may have been that heavy probably 22 years ago. I might have been.
Wow.
And I had lost weight at different times, but this, I was just gaining the weight, and I was having so much pain in my leg that I couldn't sleep.
Right.
So you said, why don't you give this a try? You sent me all the plates and all your instruction, and I immediately started to do it. Nobody cared how much I weighed. My husband, he actually he's not really supportive of what I've just done because he doesn't want to seem shallow. So he is happy for me, but he doesn't really. So I guess that's probably why I don't celebrate it a lot, because he's not.
Right.
He doesn't want to celebrate it with me. And there have been times when I put a new outfit on that I hadn't worn and that he bought me that I haven't been able to wear for 15 years, whatever. And I'm like, aren't you excited I can wear this again? He's like, I would buy you clothes for you, whatever size you were. But he had stopped buying me clothes.
Right.
And I had to start buying clothes because I was to the point where I had nothing to wear to a work meeting. I was wearing workout pants because it was the only thing that would fit.
And you'd be surprised at the reactions that people give you.
I had a girlfriend tell me after I had lost 20 pounds that she preferred the old me. I thought she would be supportive of me and happy for me. She saw me the other day, and so she hadn't seen me in a little while again, and she's like, you're getting too skinny. And I'm thinking, I look at the charts, I'm still considered overweight. I really need to lose 15 more pounds to not be considered overweight. And I think that is my next step, but I'm going to do it in 5-pound increments, just to get to 160, then 55.
Right.
Because I don't want to have that big target out there. Since I've hit the big target, I would just want to break it down into smaller targets. I also read
what was the big goal?
My goal was 55 pounds, to get 165. So I hit it in, right on my timeline, and but along the way, I probably have lost some friends, and I've tried to encourage them to participate, and it hasn't been very successful.
Kara, I believe you're touching on a lot of good points. Very emotional for me as well. I'm not saying that you have an addiction to food, but what I'm referencing are people with addictions. When they go through that same cleansing process, they end up losing friends and their life changes. And it's not easy because you think making something good for yourself will make your life better, but sometimes it's as within, so without. Everything changes. You change inside, you change outside. You're not even comfortable with your new you or how you look. You can't even believe that's the same person looking back at you. And then you get reactions from friends and people, and then all of a sudden you realize maybe the things you had in common, you don't have in common with them anymore. It's not just a physical change. I spoke with someone else before, and they were like, your body can change as much as it wants, but your body won't change and stay that way until your mind changes. So a lot of this is a lot of mental changing, a lot of perspective changing, and your real life outside of just eating and with your friendships and stuff. It's pretty it's a tougher process. It's tough for everyone. More than ways than one, but that's something each person would have to experience themselves.
Yeah.
So my question is, as someone who didn't know it was just by hearsay, what is the difference? How did you know once you got in that it was something that you wanted to do versus not being sure from the outside? Does that make any sense?
Well, part of it is because one of your other clients, when I saw her a few months earlier, and I saw her process and her achieve her goals, because it was Valerie, so she was at the program, and her and I got together one day, walked around the lake, and she shared it with me, and so it was before I started in September. It was already in the back of my mind, and then. So she was with the group at the time when I started, and she was I guess she's out of the group now. She's, maintaining her weight or whatever she's doing.
So you knew someone. So you saw someone who had success that sort of planted a seed.
Yeah.
And then when you kind of were in the right frame of mind, it kind of all came together.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know, because I think maybe there is no right time for everyone. I mean, today your time could be 2 years from now, or your time could be 6 months from now, and no one can make you change or do something. No matter how good of a program is, you have to be ready for it.
Yeah.
So that's good.
And that's with anything, really. It's like even with doing CrossFit. So you're not ready for it, or any program, even going to school.
Commitment, anything that you committed to.
Yeah. So when I committed in September, I had already been thinking about it for probably, since the time I had seen Valerie.
Okay.
So it was probably 2 months. I was thinking about it.
Got it.
And, since you have public posts with your lean is, outside of the private group, I could kind of see what was happening there and toy around with it. And then, I joined the group, and the group was very engaged at that time. I think people were, you had given instruction on what to post and how to post, and people were doing that. And I've also, as I neared my goal, I was getting extremely nervous about getting on the scale. I actually would stop getting on the scale.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
So I was on the scale 2 days ago. But before that, it was 4 or 5 days earlier, because I was like,
wow.
I guess it's getting so close to my target. I was getting so nervous, the pressure of it. And then when I got on the scale and I had blown my target, I was past it. I was like, holy shit,
Wow, what an amazing feeling.
And then I was just, and my husband,
you had been there, you just didn't know it.
I didn't know it.
Right.
I could have been there, a week earlier, and I was just, and right now in the weight, that 1 week, I was the same weight almost every single day, and that has never happened. It usually fluctuates. And like every single day I was 166. I'm like, okay, can we get off this number?
Right.
So then I just took a break, and then when I got back on, it was 164. At the very beginning, though, the scale was very important to me as a tool. And I would get on it every day, no matter what it said.
Perspective.
No, especially at the beginning. It was definitely my tool to evaluate how my plates were and the result, if they were working. If my plate was off and the scale was off, I would know that, oh, I need to adjust that.
There's a direct correlation.
So there was a direct correlation. I would always know that what would happen the next day, even without getting on the scale. So, but now I just was getting so nervous, and it was stressing me out. I was like, I can't get on the scale.
Mm-hmm.
I might be at my target. I don't want to know yet.
Right. But I can predict. I've been on the scale probably almost every day, or like earlier on for 20 years. I can tell, because I've been on it so much, I know by the way I ate, if it's going to move or not. Mm-hmm. I've self-taught myself. I know exactly what I need to eat without the scale. I still get on it just to track it, but it teaches you how to eat. Mm-hmm. My next question is, how were you able to stay committed? We keep talking about commitment, and everybody wants to be committed, and everybody loves to be committed, but what does it take to be committed, and why were you able to do it?
I never really felt deprived. I liked the food I'm eating. I really like my food. And sometimes if I put something in my mouth and I'm like, I don't like it, I will actually take it out of my mouth. I have really learned how much fuel my body needs to sustain itself. I look at food completely differently now. Before, I would have 3, 4, 5, 6 meals, whatever, a day. I would not make them special. I would just kind of have food. I was eating my workouts. I would work out, come home, and I would just, everything I did at the gym, I undid at my plate at the table. Now, I'm very, and I'm not quite sure why and how, but I guess I was just ready, and I made myself a little snack before I came over here. I packed it up before I went to the gym, and I ate it on the way here, just because I know I have a meeting in 45 minutes, so I know I was meeting with you, and then I've got to get to another meeting. So I really plan what I eat.
How hard is planning?
For me, it's not that hard. I guess I kind of find it as, it's kind of relaxing.
Routine, and it is.
It's part of my routine, but I try to always have stuff in the freezer that I can get to.
Cooked or
frozen, or just frozen
raw?
Vegetables. Like right now, I'm really low on fresh vegetables, but I have frozen vegetables.
Right. What about your meats?
My meats, yes.
Do you plan them? Do you have like the other day I made like 20 little 3-ounce turkey burgers, but I froze half.
Yeah.
They're not cooked, but they're already there.
I do both, but yesterday I went to do some protein prepping, and I had already eaten my lunch, and so I grilled some steaks for later and for Mel, because whenever he would get home, and pork chops. Well, that one steak smelled so good. I ended up eating it.
It didn't make it till later.
It didn't make it till later.
That's real life.
But I didn't eat anything else the rest of the day then. So I was just like, oh my God, that steak smelled so good. Mm-hmm. I had just eaten my lunch, but I went ahead and ate the steak. I don't like to make bland food.
I know.
So I'm like, I've tried to make things more flavorful, colorful, have the rainbow on my plate whenever I can.
So you mentioned listening and taking food out of your mouth. I mean, God, that's incredible. One of the things I know we work on is being in tune.
Yeah.
Being in tune with your body.
This is, I didn't think I was going to survive on 1,000 calories or less a day. I'm perfectly fine with that. Society has us thinking that you need breakfast when you get up. You need lunch in the middle of the day, you need a snack, and then you need dinner late at night. I eat completely differently now.
What about alcohol?
Oh, you didn't tell me I had to stop drinking.
So no, this is really important because I would say 7 out of 10 people ask me about alcohol. You would be surprised through my years of training how many times people have pulled me to the side and said, you know, Charlie, I like my 2 glasses of wine at night, or I like this, or how do you feel about that? And they feel like they're the only one, but they have no idea that the other 6 people in front of them just asked me the same question. So you can say whatever you want on the topic. It's just people want to know, can I drink alcohol? Or what kind of alcohol can they drink?
So
And still lose weight.
Did not stop drinking the whole time. I am not an alcoholic, but I enjoy my wine. I don't drink sweet drinks. I mean, one night I did have a cider, and the scale went shooting right up. I'm like, well, why did the scale shoot up? And I realized I had drank one of those hard cider things, and like, oh yeah, that's just like drinking apple juice.
Yes,
you don't drink apple juice, lots of calories. So I stick with drinking dry wines, rosé, red wine sometimes, and vodka would be the alcohol. But I don't mix it with juice. I'll just have a martini.
So what would you think you had more of, the wine or the
wine?
Okay, that's what I want to. And I tell people all the time, you know, you can lose weight and drink alcohol.
I could have probably lost the weight faster had I stopped drinking, but
but you kind of saved.
But
those calories.
I want this to be my lifestyle. So other times I've stopped drinking to lose weight, and I would just become angry because
I feel like you're giving something up too much.
I was giving up more than I wanted to give up. You know, I was controlling all the food. I was giving up all kinds of food that I liked. We're here because it's all controlled in a sense by portion size, and oh, you can have that, but you only should have this much of it. So I'm fine. Even the other day I had a piece of chocolate candy, but that's okay.
So
I was in so much physical pain, I had to do something.
Okay.
That was
you had a purpose.
The motivating factor was I was in so much physical pain I could no longer sleep, and my mobility was starting to be compromised.
Is that gone?
Yeah, I just had to lose 10 pounds, and my leg pain went away. I could sleep again. And then my knee pain, I did end up seeing a doctor. I have moderate arthritis in it. It's just because I'm 53. And I have probably permanently damaged it from being heavy.
Wow.
So now I'm working on strengthening my legs back up, because it was easy to do.
Wow, that's good.
I didn't feel like I was giving things up. I felt like every time I lost a pound, I gained something.
Gained something?
Just gained, like...
spiritually.
Yeah, I felt better about myself every time. I didn't feel like, oh, you can't have that bag of chips or whatever. It's like, I don't want that bag of chips. I feel amazing.
Were you hungry?
Not that often.
Not at night?
Only occasionally.
When did you eat when you were hungry?
Before?
No, now. Like whenever you would get, when you felt hungry?
Not usually. I would push myself through, you would say close the kitchen at 6. I would, close the kitchen.
So normally, if you would have eaten after 6, would it have just been like an emotional kind of?
Before?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's not a hunger.
No, it was just boredom, emotional eating, nothing else to do. I may as well eat. Mm-hmm. Those kinds of things.
Do you know why you don't get hungry when you eat well? Or if you don't,
I just think I'm giving my body the right fuel.
Yes.
And it doesn't need anything else.
Doesn't need the cravings.
No.
When you
If you eliminate the crap, I think a lot of the crap food creates cravings. I think what's in that food makes you crave more junk. So I stay away from the junk as much as possible. Granted, I'll have some potato chips every once in a while, but I don't even enjoy them like I thought I enjoyed them before. I would rather go make one of my salads and enjoy that.
because it tastes better. It tastes fresh.
And I always
You
try
get
to make
used to
sure
that.
that I have multi-textures in my salads, because people get, oh, you eat a salad every day. I'm like, but my salads have all this texture to it, and they're beautiful, and
You can't
trying to be
explain
like,
it.
no.
You have to let people see for themselves, and that's
Yeah.
why I'm trying to, with you even right now, trying to get something for someone else who's like blah 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 blah, and that's all they hear. Real reasons or real what is it, motivators. I know, for example, someone said, "How did you stop going to McDonald's?" I said, "I never stopped. I just didn't crave going there anymore. Like, and if I needed to go, I would pick something healthy. I would go, or I try to pick the best thing. But I remember I used to go to fast food restaurants all the time when I was younger, and I had to stop. But now, I didn't say one day I'm not going to McDonald's anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to Burger King. It just sort of happened. So if anybody's out there watching right now and they realize, well, I can't give this up, or I'm not giving, it's don't overthink it.
Right.
It'll just kind of happen.
Then don't give that up.
Right.
If that's important, like I didn't give up drinking. You know, it doesn't define me, but it's like, well, my husband and I, as you see, when we go on trips, what do we do?
Right.
Bar tours. But I felt, well, you never said anything about alcohol. I'm like, okay, well, let me see if I can make this all work and still enjoy my glass of wine. It works.
Right. It still does work.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah. So I think what it is, instead of like, there's directions that you suggest, and you make your life work around those suggestions. And so everyone's eating is different. You know, everyone's eating is different. It's not like a one size fits all.
No, it's
and it changes. So you think, who's not doing well right now, like to give them some sort of inspiration or something?
Well, I think it's important that people spend the time to plate their food. And
what do you mean by plate?
You have the plate diagrams.
Mm-hmm.
When I was looking at my pictures last night, I was like, wow, I was actually laying my food out exactly like the plate, and making sure that I had, you know, if it's an anytime meal, my little bit of fat, my protein, and then lots of vegetables. People need to embrace, and I also am very careful about which vegetables I eat. I stay away from the starchy ones. And
Do you eat fruit?
I ate some fruit, but I was scared. I love fruit. I mean, but I was very careful because that would take up almost all my carbs then for the day. So I would eat blueberries, strawberries, you know, stick with the berries. I did have some oranges there for a while because I didn't, you know, I had some food in the house when I started that I didn't want to throw it out. So I just needed to be very careful with how and when I ate it.
What about shakes?
I don't believe in drinking my meals. I think the act of eating makes you more satisfied than, I know a lot of people do protein shakes and things like that. And I'm also trying not to eat anything processed, so it's all real food. Those shakes can have a lot of other stuff in them.
Well, Carol, I think you did an amazing job, and part of me was getting upset because you didn't want to do this interview, or you didn't want to celebrate sooner, but now I realize why, and I'm just extremely proud of you, and I'm very thankful for this amazing interview. This has been more than I could have even asked from you. I've known you for a very long time, and I'm just very proud that you've done so well, and you look so good, and you feel good. Eating is a struggle for everyone, for most people, especially where we live. And with the day and age of families and the dynamic of family changing, my goal is to teach families how to eat again. So I have one question for you. Do you think you learned how to eat again?
Yes. I just know food, you know, as I said before, I know what my body needs to be to feel nourished.
Mm-hmm. And you don't feel like this sucks not eating this?
No, I love it. I'm gonna keep going.
Good. That's good to
I mean,
hear.
you say I have to be here for a year, so I'll stick around for another 6 months.
And it's good because even if you do fall back at any point in your life, you know what to do to come back to. So that's what we're working on, longevity here. So Carol may not be perfect Carol today, but maybe in a year, but at least now she knows where a safe place
Yeah.
is.
And I know that it can be done easily.
That's good. All right, thank you, Carol, for coming out, and I appreciate it.
I have to run down too.
Okay.